Thank you for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share wonderful real-life stories and expert advice from the equine clinicians and entertainers from around the country who have been a part of the largest 3-day horse fair in the USA. Our first series will include several interviews conducted during the 2024 fair. This is Kelly Kinney, the Midwest Horse Fair Coliseum announcer, and we hope you'll all stick around and learn more about the fascinating lives of these experts outside the arena.
All right, welcome to the Midwest Horse Fair podcast. We are sitting here today with Stephen Hayes, and you are located all over the place, New York, Florida, and then you travel all over the world, and you are specializing in dressage. So if you want to go ahead and start with where you're from, your background, how you got into it, some of the...
Yeah. So I am from England in the UK, and I've been in the States now for about 10 years. And I do go to Florida for the season, and I do stay in New York for the summer. And I love that aspect of the equestrian world. The change is really cool. I like to move about, and I like to do the traveling as well with teaching and things like that. But I got into it probably about 10 years old. And I'm not from a horsey background. I'm not from a family with money, I could afford all the horses that I wanted and stuff like that. So I had to work for everything. And it really came about in an area where I lived at home, which was close to the countryside. But, let's just say like top sport dressage was not really in the area. So I did realize at a certain point I'm going to have to get out of town and train and leave home, leave the nest. And that happened pretty early. That happened at like 16 years old, 17 years old. I was like out. Yeah. But that's how it really all began. Yeah.
And so you just started out as a kid. You're like, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
This is where I want to go.
Always knew it was going to be animals. And I did get into the horse game when I was a kid. And then I had a bit of a gap when I was going into high school, just because kids being kids can be cruel.
It's high school.
I was like, I don't want to deal with that. So I stopped. And then mid-high school, I was like, what the hell? Like, go enjoy your hobby. Like, go and enjoy it. Like, you love being around the horses. Go and do it. So I just kept it under my hat for a bit. And then when I was 16, I left school. I was like, peace out, guys. I'm doing my thing. Like, and I left everyone, like friends, family, like just packed up and left. I got the best family in the world. Like, I was hard. But that was it.
And so then what moved you to the United States versus staying over in Europe?
You know what? That's a good question. I've always felt like the States was like a magnet to me. Like, I always wanted to be here. I was just drawn to it. I think everybody wants what they don't really have. And with the UK, it's a small country. And, I feel like a lot of Americans are like, oh, I'd love to go to the UK and
100%,
see it.
yes.
And I was just felt like that about the States. Like, I loved it's massive. There's so many states. There's so many like different places to go, things to see. And like, I love that aspect. And I was drawn to the people as well. I just feel like American people are very nice, friendly people, and the food as well. And then the horses were like just a massive bonus, which I couldn't be here if it wasn't for the horses, because my visa is to be a competitor, and that's why I'm here. Yeah,
cool. So have you gotten to try any Wisconsin cheese curds or anything? Did you?
God, so
Where did you go?
I went to a little stall down there, and it was so good.
Wait, fried or squeaky?
Well, squeaky. I don't
they
know.
They're not breaded.
Fresh? Yeah, this was fried.
Okay.
Fried. And it was cheddar.
Okay.
And it was really,
really
good.
We could check that off the list. All right.
Yeah, your mom actually said that to me.
Oh, yes.
She's
wonderful.
like, you gotta do it.
I'm glad she's doing her job in the welcome committee. Well done. So you've obviously been some incredible places. Now you can add the Midwest Horse Fair to that list. Beyond, Madison, Wisconsin, where are some of the greatest places that you've had an opportunity to travel?
I've been really blessed in that sense. Like horses, when I first got into horses, I thought I'm having to choose between staying in a barn, so I hate to say it like this, but chained to a barn that I was riding at or teaching at or whatever. But horses have really opened up my horizon more than I could ever imagine. So some places I've been is Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, Australia, New Zealand, even Cape Town, South Africa. Like the barns in Cape Town were absolutely. You'd think you're in the middle of Holland.
Really?
Like, it was unbelievable.
Yes.
And so that's been really cool, being able to travel. And it's tough when I go because you're literally like, you're getting off a 9-hour red eye, you're going to teach a clinic, next day clinic, blah, 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 and then you're off again, and it's tough, but you do get to see lots of cool things and see the world, yeah.
So you've talked about being a competitor and then also being an educator in that stance. What do you prefer? What's the joy factor for you?
It's the riding for sure. I feel like the horses, the riding and the horses is why I do it. And the competing is, also really important. One, that I'm staying out there, and being noticed as a competitor. It's quite difficult because in dressage you sort of get judged on what you've done. And the more you do, the more you're recognized and things like that. So it's important that I stay out competing
absolutely.
And doing stuff like that. And it's really important because my visa is competition related. So I do compete in Wellington, in Florida. Yeah.
So tell us about, I feel like everybody has kind of, and this is a very cliche saying, but like, their heart horse or that horse that just really sticks out as one of the greatest of that they've had the opportunity to train. What horse comes to mind that you've had an opportunity to ride or train or work with? Yeah,
there's definitely a few horses that come to mind, but one in particular was a horse called Cluso. Okay. He was a Trakehner, really hot and sensitive, but not in a crazy way, like a let's do it, let's take over the world together kind of way. And he was a really cool horse. But I feel like often my most favorite horses are not my most talented horses. Right, yes. They're normally the horses that give you everything. Yes. And they just want to fight for you. Yes. Yeah. And those are the ones that come to my head for sure. Yeah.
The personality.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And the horses that want like you, like the horses that want to be around you. Like that's my biggest goal in everything. More than competitions, more than winning, more than anything else. Like I want the horses to like me. And I feel like that I do achieve that with my horses, and that's much more important than any competition, any ribbon.
The companionship.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're going to change perspective a little bit. So there's probably been a challenging horse that just put you through the ringer. Yeah. What came to mind and how did you overcome it? Because I feel like, as horse enthusiasts, we get stuck from time to time. Yeah. And what did you do? Who did you call? How did you get over that?
I probably have a little bit of a different perspective on this. Okay. And, I can relate to this in the sense that when I was 16, I did go down the road of training racehorses, riding racehorses. Cool. So very difficult kind of discipline, and you're dealing with horses that are extremely hot and young and, literally would want to kill you every day.
Yeah. Explosive. Yeah.
So, I feel like, yes, there is going to be horses that are like that, and you have to really be in it 100% or not. And if you're not, it's okay. Move on. There are other horses in the world.
Yes, amen.
Yeah, it's one of those. I don't feel like you have to try and kill yourself to overcome this. And if you feel like this is it or nothing else, then go for it. Reach out for all the help you can. But I tend to say that to a lot of clients who are not having fun anymore on their horse, and I'm like, look, go and find another horse. It doesn't have to be this type or that type, but find the one that's right for you, and this horse is right for someone else. Yes,
you're preaching. I'm listening right now. This is wonderful. So what is the favorite thing about what you do?
What I do, well, definitely the travel aspect, which I mentioned earlier. But I feel like seeing the growth of horses and riders is really cool. Like seeing someone really struggle with a particular movement or something like that, or a horse that's finding something quite difficult, and then, chipping away, and then it's almost like it happens overnight, but it's not. It's been months, and then, the light bulbs are flickering and it's getting it. I think that's extremely rewarding for me. And a big bonus for me is living here in the States. Yeah, a big bonus. I love it.
So we want to know a little bit more about who Stephen Hayes is as a person.
Yeah.
So do you have any, fun hobbies, personal interests outside of horses that you could tell us about?
You know what? A lot of people don't realize that I am an aviation geek.
Oh, cool.
Yes, like I am so into it, like commercial, like more like airlines kind of thing. Okay. To the point where I do feel like I'll take up flying lessons one day.
All right.
So I feel like that's in the horizon at some point. But I'm so into it. Like I check out the age of my plane, where the route it was on, like not just the route before, like the last 10 routes it was on. Like if I see them in the sky, I'll get my radar out. I'll checking it out. So
my aunt does that too. It's like I hear a plane, okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. I love finding out. It's a bit scary as well to know how many are in the sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But I'm an aviation geek.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would probably be surprised, but that's very common in the horse industry. I did not know that until I got a little bit more talking.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I was a lone wolf with this.
No, there's a ton of them that have their own pilot license and they fly themselves to their clinics or where they need to go. Yeah.
So there you go. You can get your pilot's license and just fly from horse fair to horse fair.
Yeah.
Just make sure you come back to the Midwest Horse Fair again.
Definitely.
Keep it on your list and get some more cheese curds.
Yeah.
So what is one piece of advice that you are like, either this person's starting out or this is, I want everybody to know this that has a horse?
Good question. Wow. And it's a big question, but I'll keep it simple. I would say, God, that's a big question. I think I'd say if you're starting out, anyone who's listening, who's young, who wants to do this and is really serious about it, I would say start as young as you can because, the salary and things like that are not going to be as important right now when you're young, but you will get to a point where you've got to, pay for stuff. And, when I was a working student, I had like the classic working student situation, which was you don't get paid. You get your training, you get a place to live, and that's it. Like, and, my family would chip in a little bit with some pocket money, literally pocket money. I couldn't go to the cinema or anything like that. Like it was just get your food and stuff. That was it. So that's go to a working student position. And also, I hate to say it like this, but you have to give it at least 6 months to a year to know what you have.
That's good advice.
Yeah. Because a lot of people go and they go for a month. And then they're like, I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yes, it's hard. Quit.
They want to
quit. They want to quit. And then it's hard for trainers to give themselves to people when people are coming in one month. It's a shame because it sort of spoils it for the people who actually want to stick at it, So that's my advice really for anyone starting out.
I think that's great advice. We need persistence and grit and stick with it and feel it out.
With it, yeah.
Very good.
So if people wanted to either contact you or even just follow you, where would they find or get in contact with you?
Yeah, so I do have a few social media platforms. I'm on TikTok, Instagram.
Yes, I follow you.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate the follow. Instagram, Facebook. And in my website, StephenHayesDressage.com, you can find all the links to my socials on there as well.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you both. I appreciate it.
And sharing all your wisdom and knowledge and
just
plain life advice about moving around and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah.
I think that's the most amazing thing about horses. It's life, life experience. It's never ending. Not just about learning how to ride. It's life experience. Yeah.
Lifelong learners.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here. Maybe we could take you for a Culver's Butterburger later and give you the full American experience.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
The Midwest Horse Fair is proudly presented by the Wisconsin State Horse Council Incorporated for over 40 years. Net proceeds from the fair are used by the Wisconsin State Horse Council to promote the equine industry through leadership, education, service, and communication, as well as taking a proactive role in the future growth and development of the equine industry. Thanks again for listening to the Midwest Horse Fair Outside the Arena podcast, where we share stories from expert horse clinicians and entertainers. We hope that you enjoyed this episode and continue to tune in every month and learn about the lives and hear valuable advice from the folks we are proud to have join us at the fair. Learn more about the Midwest Horse Fair at MidwestHorseFair.com.
It's not a horse show. It's a horse fair and you gotta be there. It's the great Midwest Horse Fair.